Be advised that the views and opinions of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Philippines Uncut. I am your host, Buddy Kunana. Now, to start the show, I want to wish all of you a very happy new year, as today's show is the first for 2014. And this being the first for this year, we have prepared a very nice topic about education, specifically a mode of education that few parents would even think about applying to their children. And this is none other than homeschooling, as the title of our show is Homeschooling for You. And joining us now is an advocate of homeschooling and her son. On my right is Mrs. Blessed de Guzman, and she's a homeschooling parent for 13 years and the family advisor at TMA Homeschool. Beside her is her charming son, Aaron de Guzman, who is 15 years old, third-year high school student, homeschooled since preschool. So Bless, Aaron,
Hi.
Welcome to Philippines Uncut.
Thank you very much. We're so glad that you have invited us here so that we could provide information to those who are interested about homeschooling. I've been homeschooling for 13 years. I have homeschooled my first child in 2012 and then going through it with my 3 other sons. So my first son is already in college.
Wow, okay. So homeschooling for 13 years already, and all your kids,
All
4
of
kids
them,
in
4
homeschool.
sons, yeah.
And your
Homeschool.
eldest is in college. Okay, we'll get
Yeah.
back to that soon. Aaron, tell us a bit about yourself.
Well, at first, yeah.
You're
Well,
third year now, but
third
you're homeschooled. And
Yeah.
what are your interests?
Oh yeah, I'm third year now, and I'm planning to take up like a medicine. I guess that's what interests me in college, and when I go to college, and what I like about homeschooling is that I'm able to study that at least at any time at home.
Excellent, excellent. Now, Bless, let's go to you. What is your background? Before you got into homeschooling, who are you professionally?
I'm an IT professional. I graduated computer engineering, and I dabble into different interests in terms of, in the IT industry. Like I've gone as in sales, marketing, in programming, in network management, and also basically IT. So, and then from then on, I became how would I say, I was elevated to a corporate management level because IT is basically doing automation in all aspects of the corporation. So because of that, I was like given already a role as a corporate manager, meaning the different aspects that IT would be used. And then from then on, I became a consultant of that because I have to do homeschool. I have to make sure that I have
There you go.
flexible time. So in IT, you can do that. You can have different clients based on your time.
Yes, yes.
No?
So homeschooling really key of homeschooling. One of the key ingredients is a parent or parents who
Would
have
have-
flexible time.
yes,
Not
would have-
necessarily 100% housewife, but with the ability to
Yes.
juggle his or her time.
That's true. That's
Okay.
true.
Now, let's define homeschooling. What is homeschooling, and how did you get into homeschooling?
Okay, homeschooling is the parents would be the teacher, and your classroom would be basically at home. But of course, you get to learn also in different places that your family are with. If you're like in a vacation, that's still homeschooling because you're with your family. You learn not just in the confines of a classroom, but basically what they say is homeschooling. The classroom is your world.
So-
The world is your classroom. You can be anywhere and then still learn.
Yes.
So
yes.
how did I start homeschooling? Well, I learned about homeschooling when, I had my first child, and then I said that's not for me. I mean, I'm a corporate person. I didn't study just to be a teacher to my child. That's my first impression
Of homeschooling, which is the impression of a lot of folks. I
Yes,
guess.
I'm sure that I could understand their impression.
How can we teach our children well when we're not educators?
I'm
We're
not educator. I know.
Yun nga, that's-
I'm not meant to teach.
You're an IT
Yes,
professional
and,
by training.
I could
no?
mentor other on programming and all kind of IT stuff, but not on those kind of subjects.
So you thought, di ba?
So I thought.
Okay. All right.
And then I attended this parenting seminar wherein the speaker that time is a homeschooler, and the products are already in college, or one of the products actually, is already a college graduate. And he even spoke during the seminar.
A homeschooler graduate of college, right? Okay.
Yeah, so he's been homeschooled in maybe elementary, and then he's gone through high school and then college. And he spoke about the benefits of homeschooling. A child who's been homeschooled. And that really struck me, okay. I mean, this is not just a salesman trying to sell
Yes,
homeschooling.
yes.
This is already a product of homeschooling. And then one thing that he told me is that, the great influence in his life are his parents. And then, of course, there are also challenges. And because of that, I told my husband, maybe we could try for a year.
No, for sure, because you've been homeschooling your kids for 13 years, and now it's kind of catching on. There's more. I mean, there are more people homeschooling now than there were
Compared to
a decade
before.
ago,
Yeah.
2 decades ago.
Yeah.
But like back then, what was it? I
Yeah.
mean, I'm sure you were weighing your options: homeschool or regular school. What was it? I'm sure it must have been a difficult choice. I mean, I'm sure so few of your friends are doing it, and like, I'm
Yes.
sure your friends would probably say,
Yeah.
"What are you thinking?"
It's a road that is less traveled.
Absolutely,
really.
absolutely.
So they're like said, you're just wasting your time. You have a career ahead of you.
Yes.
Why are you doing this?
Yes, yes.
And I would even say, I even told my friend before that when it was first introduced to me, I mean, I would rather spend time with mentoring, my staff than my children. And then when I heard myself saying that, is
Doesn't
that
seem
for
right.
real? I mean,
It doesn't seem
that
right.
doesn't seem
Because
right.
your children
Would
should
I-
be the
why would
priority.
why would I spend the best of my time with my staff than with my children? And then that get me thinking, am I saying the right thing?
Was it a difficult decision for you to make eventually to decide on homeschooling? I mean, did you and your husband have a big discussion about it? How about the parents-in-law, your mother-in-law, your father-in-law? I mean, was it?
At the start, it was really difficult, but I have that intention to really homeschool. So I prayed really. I prayed hard that if this is the right time, this is the right moment for me to homeschool. If this is the right for us, if we can do it, then I would just do it if there's really the opportunity.
Yes.
If given the chance, I would do it. And then the chance came. My company decided to transfer the base in other Asian country, and I was asked to join. And of course, the first thing that brought to my mind is, okay, I would go there. And what about my family?
Yeah,
or if I
for
bring
sure.
my family there, possible. But what about the career of my husband?
Yes.
I mean, he's supposed to be the one leading the family, not me choosing the kind of career that I want, and he would just double on anything that would be available for him. So I decided, okay, I would just go there to train the people. I've done that several, at least a year or
Yeah.
two. And then they got me as a consultant. And because I did that with them, I was able to do it with other companies. I was able to provide my services as a consultant to start up a company and all those things. And that gave me opportunity. That's the answer to my prayer. That gave me opportunity that I can homeschool because I have
Amazing.
now more time with my children.
Amazing. Now, it says here that you're the family advisor of TMA Homeschool. What is TMA Homeschool?
TMA Homeschool is TMA Homeschool is a homeschool program of the Masters Academy. There's a school called the Masters Academy that's in Parañaque, and they are accredited by the Department of Education for the homeschool program.
Okay.
And what they do is they provide training. Well, first, of course, they would provide some sort of a seminar, introduction to homeschooling for those who would like to homeschool, or those who are interested or have questions about homeschool, they don't know how to start and all. They would provide the introduction. So how do you start?
Yeah.
And then what are the curriculums? How do you teach? What is what are the things that are needed to do it? And to provide you with the accreditation. Okay. And then they also provide a lot of things. They provide training for parent teachers like me.
Very important because not every parent can just become a teacher or teacher slash facilitator.
That's
There are
true.
skills that
Yes.
then one needs to bring
Yes,
to the
those are
homeschool.
things. We have to answer those concerns of the parent teachers. They would like to homeschool, but they don't know how to start, when to start, and how to do it.
For
And
sure.
TMA Homeschool is the answer to that.
That's a question. Some of the questions we're going to try to answer tonight. Now, this TMA Homeschool, when you first started homeschooling 13 years ago, was TMA Homeschool around? Were there organizations like this already? Because, growing up, I remember that there were kids who were homeschooled. But
That's-
they were usually the decks, when there were still decks.
Yes.
These were the actors and actresses, teenage actors who couldn't go to school.
Yeah, they don't have the time.
They didn't
to
have the
go to
time because
school
schedules-
they have more schedules in the showbiz.
In the
right?
showbiz. So they got the DEX accreditation or DEX program. Now, when you started with your kids, did you have some sort of formal structure?
There was
or-
already TMA Homeschool.
Okay.
The speaker that I told you about when I heard about the parenting seminar, Diona Tanchi, she is actually the founder of TMA Homeschool. She home educated her children, 5 of them, I guess, and told us the benefits of homeschooling. And they have already established TMA Homeschool that time when I started. Actually, maybe they started a year ahead of me.
Yeah.
So maybe I was already the second batch.
Yeah.
So there was already an organization, and I know there were other organizations. I'm not so sure about the time they started or their accreditation with DepEd. And at the same time, there are others who are doing it independently but bond themselves together as homeschool group.
And that's very important because, obviously, a home will not have the same kind of resources that a classroom,
that's it, yeah.
a standard regular school has, no? And if you bring yourself together in an organization or association, then you can
You
support.
share the cost,
Share the cost.
you share the materials, you share the
And it somehow
the
brings the
interest.
child also into a community that the child would find himself or herself in a
That's
regular
true.
school.
That's true.
Now, Aaron, in your case, you've been homeschooled since you were since preschool, basically. You haven't been to a regular school ever. And what are your feelings about that? I mean, do you sometimes think to yourself, maybe I should have gone to a regular school, especially when you pass by schools, you see people in school buses and people in classroom setting. Do you ever wish that you had been a student in a regular school?
Well, earlier, when I was like 7, around that age, because most of our neighbors, in our neighborhood, we're the only ones. Oh, we're the
You see them waking up
Yeah.
early, they go,
yeah,
their
and then
uniforms.
when I go outside, I'm looking for anyone's no one's there. So
No one's
so,
home.
they're just gonna see them arrive, and sometimes even at home they still have homework. But then growing up, I already saw, because I really enjoyed the benefits of homeschooling a lot. I really don't regret it.
What did you like most about homeschooling? Tell me.
Well, maybe it's most probably one of the biggest impacts is the really flexibility, because I really got to do lots of things that interested me, and that even my parents, they're able to influence me in a good way.
Very good point. He said flexibility, and let's take off from that when we talk about benefits. Because I want to ask you about the benefits of homeschooling.
Okay.
When you said flexibility, that's a problem. It wasn't when I was growing up. a decade or two ago. Okay, let's put it that way. When I was growing up a long time ago, going to school, going from home to school, maybe 15, 20, 30 minutes max. These days, I heard it takes about, okay, fine, I went to Ateneo. From the gate of Ateneo to the grade school or the high school can take you an hour from the gate.
That's
so
true.
I mean, times have changed for students. No? So when you think about flexibility, I want to take off from that and talk about time. Now, so obviously, one of the big advantages, right, Bless, of homeschooling is you don't have to go through this whole daily grind of waking up at 5 o'clock and leaving by 5:30. What do you have to say about that?
Well, the time that you get to school and back home would be already the time that you do in homeschool. Like, how long does it take you to go to school and back? 2 hours, sometimes 4 hours. That's already the homeschool time that we do.
Imagine that, no?
See?
That time is wasted.
That time is wasted. And apart from that, the child is so stressed.
There you go.
And so tired. No, so maybe they're not even, up to learning anymore because they were so tired.
For sure. I have friends now who have children your age and younger, and the horror stories. I hear from them that the wife has to get up at 4:30 to fix the baon. So by 5:15 or 5:30, they're out of the house, and this is a lot of stress on the kid, on the parents, a lot of expense in the household, gasoline, all
and then
that.
when they get home, they have to do their assignments.
Homework.
Wow. Wow.
And most of the time, they don't do their homework anymore. It's the parents because they don't have the energy.
Now,
or maybe somebody else.
Now, in terms of homeschooling, there is no such thing as homework, no?
Well, everything is done there during the schedule. They have a project that they have to accomplish. They have on a quarterly basis, they have this portfolio that they have to put. It's like a project for every subject.
Mm-hmm.
Or it could be also one kind of thing that all subjects are there. It's like a subject, like a topic where the different subject can be addressed already. It's like an integration of project. So they have that. So they can do that anytime they want, or they can just compile the things that they've done and consider it as their quarterly portfolio. So they have that. So no need for assignment. I mean, assignment is like what they do already.
Yes.
Homework is where they are. I mean, they're doing homework already.
So it's like you're doing it. It's like you do it simultaneously with study. So what for, no?
That means you do homework because you need to do more exercises.
And that's the benefit of homeschool. Unlike, again, I go back to my own experience. Back then, when I was in high school or grade school, a class was 30. 30, 35, 30. But now I hear that the class can go up to 50.
50, that's true.
And so how do you, precisely why people need to do homework is because maybe the teacher didn't have time to supervise each student.
Or to make sure that they understand it. So in homeschool, we don't move forward or go to the next topic unless we make sure that we understand.
So there really is no need for homework. I mean, it's there. You can see your child doing it. Your child has done it. So you move on to the next thing.
Yes.
Excellent. Now, aside from time, let's talk about other benefits. Cost.
Cost.
A lot of horror stories there as well.
If you consider the quality of education that you get from homeschool, you compared it to a quality school, it's really, really cost effective. Like in TMA homeschool, you have like a base tuition fee of like 25 to 30,000 for the first child.
For the first child for the year.
And then you add 5,000 for every child. Like say the second child, another 5,000. So that's
it.
Yeah, that would be like if you have 4 children, it would be just less than 10% of the.
Now that 30,000 or 25, 30,000, 35,000. What is included there? All the modules, all the books.
Okay, that's just the tuition fee. That means you have the accreditation of DepEd. You have the if you go through training that they would provide, and additional 1,000 for the achievement test that you need to go through, and all the consultations that you need, and the portfolio review quarterly. That's all. Because what's not included there is are the curriculum, because you have to choose what kind of curriculum. It can be as expensive as you want it, depending on the curriculum, or as cost effective as you can afford it.
Yeah.
So there are also good materials that are locally available. with teacher's manual already, because that's very important.
Of course.
There should be a teacher's manual, because we are not teachers, so we don't know how to go through things on all
For sure.
subjects.
I was going to ask you the question, because growing up in high school, grade school, high school, we had specific teachers. One for science, for
Yes,
geometry,
exactly.
for, like now, if I were to teach, kids,
Yeah.
what do I know about science?
Yeah.
So how does it, someone who has no formal education in zoology or mathematics, how do you now teach math?
Yeah.
Is that difficult? Was it
Okay,
difficult
yeah.
for you?
Well, first of all, the main thing is that the key there is that you have a teacher's manual. No? Okay, so you can learn how it's done through the teacher's manual. So some of the teacher's manual are very, very, how do I say, extensive. Meaning like in math, every step it will be shown there. And if you don't understand math, you can just follow it.
So it's really almost idiot-proof.
Yes.
It's an idiot-proof.
No-brainer,
I
yeah.
hate to use the word idiot, but
Uh-huh.
idiot-proof way
That's
of
true.
teaching your children
That's true.
a subject.
Yes. So you can,
Chemistry, like some
that's
basic
true.
chemistry.
And then secondly, hopefully by the time he gets to high school, he has established a good study habits. He has that love for learning. So even though the mom or the dad or whoever is teaching is not that well adept in that particular subject, because the child loves to learn,
Really
he will
strive,
do.
yeah.
Yeah.
I had a good pre-interview with Aaron, and you really struck me as someone who likes to learn, and the love was there. You want to be a doctor, all that. How do you instill the love for learning in your third-year high school level student? You can play the violin, all that. You love to learn. Your mom was telling me you even wake up earlier just to go to. How did you do that? When I was in high school, I hated studying.
Uh-huh. Well, I guess it depends. Of course,
How did you do it?
It still depends on different personalities, right? And then secondly, we somehow influence them and inspire them that if they want to be like this, these are the things that are required for. Are you up to it? So you better make sure that you practice it now.
I can see probably there's a correlation also between, a lot of things that you may not like about school. Maybe that's the bullies, maybe it's the stress, maybe it's the
Yeah.
regimentation. Can translate sometimes to you hating studying when
School,
there's no relation between
Exactly. Sometimes,
Right?
sometimes kids really love to learn, but because there are other things that influence
Are
them not to
affecting
like
them.
learning,
Yeah.
affecting them, like what you've said, bullying.
the two.
That
Sure.
somehow they just make some sort of reason not to study, not to learn, not to love learning, not to go to school, because of those negative factors.
Now, this love of learning, you told me that you play the violin.
Yeah.
How did you learn to play the violin?
Well, actually, my older brother, he started playing violin first. And then, I guess my mom just suggested, or even my brother, I got interested. And he said, I guess he started teaching me the basics. He started showing me just for fun. And then, then even my mom started considering if would you like to take lessons as well. So yeah, so I sat in one of the classes, and then I started learning already.
And then the teacher said, he
And
knows violin
really,
already. Who taught him? Who's the teacher? I said, oh, the older brother.
Amazing. Okay, going back to cost. So you said 35 for, let's say on the average, if you have all the modules, let's say for a reasonable standard program,
Okay.
how much should it come up to?
Let's say it could go as high as 100,000.
Okay, all
That
right.
would include the different modules, like if you have a lot of stuff that you want, and enrichment classes. Because if you want your child to be part of a music class, like in his case,
Yeah,
they took violin lessons. That would be apart from the tuition fee, of course. And they took also...
See, that's another thing I want to ask you, these so-called enrichment classes, because when we were in high school, we had, music class, art class, we had work education
Yes,
class.
yes,
So
yes.
these things obviously would be missing in homeschool, in a home environment. So you're saying now that this organization, like TMA, is
would
offering
provide,
these
yes,
facilities.
those kind of, we call it
Mape.
creative arts,
Creative arts.
and sports. So those are the things, somehow it would draw the interest and the skills of your child, depending on what kind of environment you would let them be. So in our case, I'm not even sure they would like, violin. So at first, I just bought a second-hand violin I think there was even a dent to the violin, that the first violin that we. I was just okay. You just try, and then they tried, and then they kind of like it. So we stayed there for like how long? And
And
then
maganda talagang tailor-made. It's not
Tailor-made.
like when we were taking high, you were forced to go to music school, music class, and you were, it wasn't for everyone, no?
yes, we still have that. We can, parents, if they think they don't have the budget yet and they can see the interest with their children, they can still teach the basic of music. Like we have also materials for that, like for music arts and PE, the usual thing that where you teach the theory of music and all.
So, yeah.
And even with practical arts or home economics, we also have that curriculum. But to add to that, like if they like something else, we can stay longer on a particular topic. Like in home economics, they kind of hooked with baking. They
Something
in fact
you would never think of doing.
yeah. In fact, our somehow gift this Christmas was baked by Aaron. All the chocolate chip cookies.
Galing,
we just
galing.
packed.
Hold that thought because you have to pause for a break. Guys, more of homeschooling is homeschooling for you when Philippines Uncut returns. Galing, yun talaga yun. Welcome back to Philippines Uncut. I'm Buddy Kunana. Tonight's topic is homeschooling for you? And my guests are Mrs. Blessed Guzman, homeschooling parent for 13 years and family advisor of the TMA Homeschool. And her son Aaron de Guzman is 15 years old and third year high school level, homeschooled since preschool. Okay, Bless, Aaron, welcome back to our second segment. Now, let's talk about the home environment when it comes to studying. A lot of parents are probably wondering now, how can that be? If the child is at home, the parents at home, it's always going to be kind of relaxed, kind of laid back. How do you now learn? How do you, learning is a serious business, no?
Yeah.
It requires discipline. It requires the right environment. How do you have to transform your home into a classroom? How do you do it?
Yeah, at the start, of course, we have to make sure that there's a place, at least a corner that we can consider our homeschool corner. So when we go to that corner, it's learning time. So at least you have bookshelves where you can put all your materials. And for them, it started like plastic when they were homeschoolers. Square tables, no?
Really?
Like
As
monoblocks.
preschoolers, you had these
Yeah.
little tables like that. Just like you would find in a kindergarten or preschool. Okay. You had to buy those. You had to really buy
Yes,
those.
yes. Others would have. When we started, actually, we have a room. We converted one of the rooms to be the homeschool room, but others would just have a corner. Because all you need to have is like a place for your curriculum and a place where you can study.
Pero Bless, how do you get out of being in home mode to going to school mode? Like I'm sure your kids. How do you get them? Okay, then now it's time to get serious.
Yeah.
Do you make them wear a uniform? Do you make them change? Because it's hard to study if
yeah.
you're wearing your flip flops.
Yes.
Your
Well,
shorts, right?
at least we make sure that they have already taken their shower. They have taken their breakfast. They're prepared to learn. They're already groomed to study.
How do you get the child prepared to learn? Like, as a traditional parent, you say, okay, now we ship them off to school. The teacher na bahala. Teacher will take care of that.
Yeah.
He's away from school. He's away from the home, so there's no one to baby him. How do you segue from being a parent to being a teacher who's supposed to discipline your child, supposed to be that disciplinarian? How do you...
At the start, I thought there should be a shift. Like, I'm a parent mode now, or I'm a teacher mode now. At the start, I thought, like, I'm your teacher, you have to obey me. But that shouldn't be the case. As a parent, there should be authority already.
Yeah.
Nice
So
point.
That
Nice
means
point.
Nice
you'll
point.
be able to teach whether it's character,
Yeah.
either a subject, or whatever it is. As a parent, there should already be an authority.
Aaron is going to say something. Okay, go.
Oh yeah, parang as a teacher, for a short time, I didn't really see my mom as a teacher. Like, I really saw her as a parent. Like, as just teaching me, like just showing me like how earlier in my age, before I actually started homeschooling for real, how my mom taught me other things. I basically just like saw it like that, and I didn't see her as like someone who's forcing me to study.
Which is nice.
Yeah, because during the early years of our homeschooling, we really had like before we studied, we had like a ceremony or something like.
Really?
Like we
Like,
have to sing the
sing the
Lupang
national
Hinirang.
Really?
and
You went that far?
Yeah, we did Panatang Makabayan.
Panatang Makabayan in your
Yes,
home.
Yes,
Yeah.
we do that also to make sure that they also learn these
No,
things.
it's good. It's good. It's like a symbolic, like a mind thing that okay, now we're switching
Yes, the
to
start.
learning mode. Galing, galing.
So we do
Wow.
that, and then we start our prayer,
cool.
and then it's homeschool time. That's
Galing.
it. So they have to somehow know the shift that they're already starting their homeschooling. And yeah, Erin, is true that I don't have to shift from parent to teacher because it's the same thing. You know, I'm a parent who loves to teach them,
And again, like there's some kids. I'm not saying all, but some kids probably when they were thrown into that classroom environment, they were uncomfortable. The stress it made them not want to learn.
Yeah.
Because it's a knee-jerk reaction maybe, but for as you said, it's a natural thing for a parent to teach a child. No? It's a natural. It's a hand in glove kind of thing, no?
that's true. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, now let's talk about hours. What are the usual hours of homeschool?
I always tell them that we should start at 8 o'clock, unless there are events in the previous day that made us very late, in waking up. They would start at 8 o'clock, meaning they have already taken the breakfast, they have taken a bath already, and all those. They're prepared already. They said by 8 o'clock they're already doing their homeschool activity, and then they could end lunchtime, and then if they haven't finished what they have, supposedly there are schedules, or
You just continue it.
they just
the
continue
afternoon.
it in the afternoon, or they would do other enrichment activities like sometimes they would have drawing books where they could draw, or they can practice their musical instrument that they double on violin, piano, and guitar. Or
So
even
basically
the
4
ukulele.
hours, more or less 4 hours.
Yeah, 4
8 to
hours,
12?
at least 4 hours. And then maybe in the afternoon we can do other enrichment activities. Sometimes we go to, they do basketball in the village park.
This is also a lot of work on the parent, huh? I mean,
It does at the
wow,
start.
It's like you have a little school going there.
Yes, it does. Preparation is the key to it. You have to make sure that you're prepared to give them what they need to do. Otherwise, you will be wasting your time.
And the discipline and the commitment, no? I mean, this is you've been homeschooling for 13 years, your kids,
Yeah.
and that's a lot of commitment, huh?
That's true. It's a lot of commitment. At the start, when we did it, okay, we'll do it by year. And then on the third year, we said, we better decide that we're going to do this for the long haul or not.
Is it difficult to because it's like you're in effect going to school with your kids? Is it in effect, no?
Yeah.
It's not like in the old days when the parent packs some kids off and they go to school and the parent does his or
Other
her own thing, his
things,
own
yeah.
job, whatever. But was it difficult for you to commit yourself to this kind of thing? And I mean, it prevented you from doing other things that your adult life required?
The
or
truth
needed?
is, if you would just be selfish, I mean, there are other things that you can do. You can, but if you look at your children, your child, and you would see them with the look of love. I mean, who else would give them the love that you could give?
For sure.
And if you love your children, you would give the best, your best for them. And it's actually a no-brainer. I mean, there's no problem in really deciding.
Let's take off from that. You said give them the best. And I'm sure a lot of parents watching us now are probably thinking, precisely why we spend 150K
Yes.
or 200K to send our kids to
The best
these
schools.
exclusive schools because we want the best for them. How can this be the best? Unfortunately, I'll be honest with you, homeschooling has had that kind of stigma.
That's
in the
true.
movies, you always look at the parang kids who are homeschooled are always, let's say a little bit, academically challenged. Let's put it that way. Now, how do
Yeah.
what is your response to thinking like that?
Well, I guess the stigma there is because there was no reason before to homeschool.
Yeah.
That's why people who are homeschooled or tutored are the ones who are academically challenged.
So you
That
need
was
special
before.
attention.
Yeah. But now there are other concerns in regular school, like bullying or the influence that your children are getting.
For
and,
sure,
the
for
language
sure.
that they say,
For sure.
that they don't even hear it at home. Those things. So when you do homeschool, the opportunity now for you is to influence your children. Rather than other things influencing them.
No, for sure, that's a very good point. But okay, what about in terms of can homeschool children compete academically with their peers who went to, let's say, Ateneo, La Salle, or these exclusive schools or regular schools? Put it that way. Can they compete? How do they stack up?
Well, first of all, we have very good materials. Okay.
Yeah.
Even the materials, I guess, they end up actually we end up buying more materials because they want more. They want to learn more.
Kids
and
are
more.
like sponges, no? They just
Yes.
the information.
Yes,
that
and you have to take hold of that opportunity that they want to learn. That instead of them spending time on the road, no, they would just learn and learn. And you don't have that much opportunity anymore when you go to a regular school. No?
Especially with the size of the classrooms
Yes,
and
yes.
teachers now. Like, I went to Ateneo and, the teachers we had were the old guard. These are like the Mr. Celorio. I mean, these are guys who really, first job was teaching and they grew old teaching and, but now you have a lot of young people. No offense to the young teachers,
That's
but
true.
you don't anymore have those old guard teachers who really did their lesson plans by hand. And plus the classrooms are smaller. So in that sense, I think homeschooling addresses some of that, no?
Because of that, because they have more time to study, more materials to learn, and there's a one-on-one, like if they don't understand it, I have to make sure that they go through other things so that they would understand it more. That means they don't go from one lesson to another without understanding it. So that means they know what they're studying. So that already spells competitiveness because there's academic excellence.
Yes, yes. How about resources? Let's say let's talk about that. I mean, let's say a lot of people are probably worried about homeschooling. We all want our kids to go to a good university, good college. Will they be able to compete getting into those colleges? Now you mentioned your son, and
My eldest
and
is-
Aaron wants to go to med school, right? So how does it?
Okay, my eldest is already in college and he's one of the top 3 universities. Okay, and he has already hurdled. He had hurdled the what do you call it? The college entrance test of all of those. He passed.
The top 3. We're not
Yeah,
going to
the
name
top
them,
3.
but I assume Ateneo is on them.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, but the top 3.
The blue is there.
Yeah, the blue is there. Okay,
Yeah, okay.
forget about the other colors.
Okay.
Blue, okay. but the blue is... Okay, Bless. So your son, okay, let's go back to, he passed the top 3 schools, and how is he faring now? He's in first year. What is he taking?
He's taking up computer engineering.
Wow,
Okay.
tough course.
Yeah.
Very-
Tough course.
Very tough course.
Yes. At the start, of course, there's apprehension in his part. He'll be in a big school, and there was even a discussion on our part, and I was just giving him pointers.
What to expect.
What to expect in college. And at the end of the discussion, he even said, "I'm not even sure if that would still apply now because I've been in college for, decades ago." I said, "Yeah, good point. But at least I give you some of the pointers that you can make use of." And then I guess, he had the jitters for the first 2 months, and then afterwards he was able to adjust already because there was already an opportunity to be with other homeschoolers when he was still homeschooling. They made sure, in TMA, they made sure that there are activities with fellow homeschoolers.
Classroom activities.
Classroom activities.
Getting them ready for that.
Yes, they would
Alright.
have they would listen to a language arts teacher who would teach
Yeah.
them public speaking, and they would have opportunity to apply what they've learned in an audience with other homeschoolers, so they get to practice already. These things are also being addressed by TMA Homeschool.
Ang galing. I mean, it's a good job what TMA is doing. It really is
That's
making, parang bridging the gap
Yes,
between
yes.
regular school and homeschool. Because before there was a gulf. No?
Yeah, there's a gulf, and
Yeah.
you see the difference. Like,
Yes,
oh,
yes.
this guy is homeschooler because he's not able to adjust.
Yes.
But really, praise God for TMA Homeschool providing all these things.
Yes. Now, Aaron, you're third year now,
Yes.
and you're going to be entering college soon, in about a
Soon,
year,
yeah.
year and a half. And I'm sure you've decided more or less set your sights on which college, which university you want to go to, and you want to go to
Yeah.
medicine. What are your main? Are you apprehensive about entering for the first time in your life a regular classroom setting?
Well, of course I am, because I wasn't sure actually before what to expect,
Yeah.
like what to fear. Like now when I saw my brother every day, like how when he comes home he's like tired and how he's like complaining about all the assignments he has to do. And I'm like, oh, so that's how it is. But then for me, like the course I'm taking, because like this is something that I really like, that I'm really looking forward to as well. So I guess that love for the course and for that certain subject, I guess that would counteract all the apprehension. Yeah,
Now,
all that fear.
Are you doing anything to prepare yourself for eventually? And then okay. Another question is: you want to become a doctor? You want to go to med school? You're going to go to pre-med. And medicine is a very rigid, very rigorous profession and academic discipline, and as opposed to homeschooling, where it is a bit more flexible, you will be thrown into some sort of kind of academic boot camp. So, how are you preparing yourself for this?
Well, actually, now that I'm actually learning more independently, it's like I guess I'm making like my own schedule also. Like 'cause we have lots of books at home, lots of resources. So I give myself assignments sometimes. Like I make my own thing. I study or like sometimes like make essays or something just to practice.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true. He's given himself like certain things to study, even without my supervision. And he would just read and he would just share to us what he has learned.
Because it can be quite intimidating if you've never been to a regular school or gone to a regular school. You go to a regular school even when there are no students. You got a row of classrooms and blackboards and chairs. It can be quite, daunting now sometimes, if you think about it.
That's true. Well, in our setting, I have to make sure that somehow I simulate those things. Like, I made them solve math problems on board.
Or
I made them do extemporaneous speaking. Given a topic and they would talk about those things.
In front of you?
In front of me and the other classmates. Those are the brothers, of course. And yeah, those things. And then they do essay writing also, and then I correct and then they do their own reports or their research.
Okay, these things, like all of us went through school plays, elocution. I hated it basically, but something I had to do.
Yeah.
And like, does TMA give opportunities for that? Like, being part of a school play or going upstage in front of not just your brothers and sisters and your mom, but in front of a whole bunch of people. Subject perhaps even to ridicule. Could happen. No.
Maybe you can share that.
Yeah, because like there was this theater arts class that I took up. That I guess I tried it at first, and then at theater arts at the end of the year we had a school musical, and I ended up being one of the main characters also, but at least there's something I also like doing, because like per quarter you could always just back out if you didn't want, because like there's like a lot of people who did that, but like this one at least I liked it. So I was able to.
So you can really find your fit.
Yes.
Where you want to be, what you want to do.
Yes.
And like in regular school, you got to do it, whether you don't like it or not.
Yeah, because the class is progressive per quarter. They will be taught how to do things. And then as they progress, and then at the end of the year, they would have a musical play. So those who would like to learn more, they would end up staying on until the end of the year. And those who are not really into it can back out.
Another question. What are your comments to people who are saying that homeschool kids are too sheltered and unprepared to face the real world? I mean, like it or not, we all went to regular school. I mean, you and I went to regular school, and that's where we learned the good things and also some of the bad things.
To be street smart, right?
So, but you get, it comes together, So, and somehow it also prepares you for life.
That's true.
What do you have to say about people who are saying that homeschool kids don't have that kind of, that exposure to that kind of environment where fine, good and bad together?
Yes. Like in military school, they do what do you call it? War games even before they go to a war. In homeschool, somehow we simulate also that.
How?
Like
How do you do it?
we teach them that these things happen and all. Like maybe in theory, we do that, but when they have certain experiences and they will tell us, and then we would normally somehow discuss these things.
When you talk about drugs like that, alcohol, drugs. Like
we tell them that.
High school, especially high school, this is the age
yeah.
that people start experimenting,
Like one of the things that TMA Homeschool put up, which is very good for teenagers, is that we have this purity ball. So this purity ball would start with two symposia, with parents. And they would tell us that, this is what's happening with our youth now, and this is what God has intended us to do, to be pure and all, to take care of ourselves, and parents and children have accountability with one another, to be able to maintain purity until the day that, you have given yourself to that special someone in marriage. So they are given those, because these are truth that they have to learn. These are the things that have been happening. They're given this, and then they're given also, alternative. if you don't do this, these are the things that could happen to you. If you do
Yeah.
this, these are the things that could happen to you.
Yeah.
And then at the end of that, there's a culmination of a purity ball wherein the children and the parents would somehow have a vow of purity.
Yes,
you know.
yes.
Because parents cannot tell children to stay pure if they themselves have problems with,
Yes, yes.
with these things.
Yes.
So actually, it's beyond purity. It's more than anything else. It's like a parent and child relationship on all the other things that would somehow subject them into like all sorts of problems. Like one of them
Yes.
would be, of course, morality, drugs.
Sure.
What are the other peer pressure that they would have?
Yes. No, but looking at all of this together and hearing all the points you raised, I really hope TMA comes up with some sort of hybrid program where part homeschool, part regular school. So at least, I don't know if the TMA is working on that, some sort of hybrid program for people who aren't really ready to go into homeschooling 100%, like hardcore homeschooling.
Yeah. Well, the recent meeting that I had with homeschool is that they're looking into different kinds of things that would address the concerns of those who would like to homeschool but cannot fully embrace it for some reasons, maybe time or for them they're not prepared yet, to really double on it full time. I think they are doing a lot of things to answer these things.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Now, we're running low on time, unfortunately. So many things to ask you, but it's an interesting topic. We'll definitely have a follow-up show on this. But last words before we go, let's start with Aaron. Maybe you can tell the viewers about your experience in homeschool and maybe encourage them to try it. Encourage parents to try it.
Well, with homeschooling, I really have no regrets at all because now that I've homeschooled for really long, I've really enjoyed all the benefits and that I've really no regrets. Parang, there are some, it's not perfect. We had some challenges, but then if you really put your time into it, if you're really focused into it, it'll really you'll really benefit from it, like the cost benefit.
You think that the benefits definitely outweigh the
benefits
the
definitely
cost.
outweigh.
Excellent.
Yeah, if you're going through the right motions, if you're just because homeschooling really provides lots of options and opportunities that basically the parents also influence me a great deal because that's basically they taught me and also they prepared me for outside the world also. So yeah.
Excellent. Les?
Okay. Well, homeschool is not perfect, just like Aaron said. We had a lot of challenges also. But if you think, if you are interested to do homeschooling, let me just say that there's TMA Homeschooling will be doing an introduction to homeschooling, which is on February 28th. And there's a minimal family fee of 500 pesos. That means, if both husband and wife would go there and with a child, that's just 500 pesos.
To
and
attend
if you
this,
want
this
to attend this
talk.
introduction to
Okay.
homeschooling, so
Okay.
if you know that you're up to it, or it will give you an opportunity to know if what are the things that you need to set up. No? And then there's if you want your child to go through a diagnostic test, there's also a minimum fee of 1,000 per child. You can call TMA Homeschool at 234-0432. And, as you've said, talking about homeschool is not enough for an hour. So they would have more opportunity to ask about homeschooling when they attend that. So
For sure. And then after this talk, maybe in March, you guys can come back and we can talk about what happened there.
Okay, sure.
And maybe get some of the participants of that talk to share
that
how
would be good.
it opened their eyes to homeschooling in general.
Yes.
So, and I think for a lot of parents, they are looking at homeschooling, especially for preschool and nursery and kindergarten. I think that is actually what a lot of parents are considering.
Best time to start actually.
To get them
homeschooling.
start them early and get them used
Yes.
to the system
Yes,
and the
yes.
discipline of homeschooling.
That's true. Yeah,
Excellent.
and there will be less time also to do so many academic activities. So at least it's a good way to start without too much stress for the parent-teacher.
Excellent. So, Bless, thank you very much, and
Thank
good
you
luck on
also.
Feb 28. Aaron, thanks also, and good luck with your homeschooling, and you must let us know what happens when you when you pass, I'll say,
the
when you
exam.
pass pre-med.
Yeah.
Huh? Thank you very much.
Hopefully.
All right, guys, so I hope you enjoyed our talk tonight about homeschooling. Hopefully, it opened your eyes to alternatives to regular school here on Philippines Uncut. So join us again next week here in the show where we talk about what matters to you, because you guys matter the most. See you next week.